not quite as pleasant. Have a little look at this. You can see, I say you can see, that's Sydney. If you look carefully, it was shrouded in a thick blanket of fog today, as was much of New South Wales. The good news is it has since cleared.
It's very dramatic, isn't it?
Very dramatic.
Hello? Just waiting. I'm back.
Dwelling on the fog, I believe.
Let's just stay with the fog. Let's catch up with the sport. And Sally's got more reaction on a brilliant story from yesterday's programme. We had an extraordinary interview, didn't we? Or you did, Sally.
We certainly did. An extraordinary reaction to it too. For those of you watching yesterday, you might remember the story we covered about Luke Chadwick, about how he was publicly tormented on TV for his looks. Well, we spoke to the former They Think It's All Over presenter, Nick Hancock, who said this.
I'm appalled, really, for him and at myself. I just feel a great deal of responsibility and shame, which I do accept.
Sorry, we did have a little bit of a problem, I think, with Nick's clip there, but he basically made a full apology. And following his appearance on Breakfast yesterday, Luke has been inundated with messages of support. He says he accepts Nick's apology, as well as one from Gary Lineker, who said he was sorry for any hurt caused. Like I say, loads of messages of support. Boy George tweeted, "Wow, humans can be hateful." Lots of charities too, praising Luke for raising awareness of mental health. Well, I'm pleased to say Luke joined us live this morning. Morning to you, Luke.
Morning, Sally.
What's that reaction been like for you?
Yeah, it's been incredible. Obviously, the amount of messages and whatnot I've heard. So, had some really nice messages sent through. But I think the most rewarding thing for me personally is the fact that a few people have been in contact to say that what I've said's helped them. And obviously, there's no better feeling in the world of feeling like you've helped someone. So it's been incredible, very humbling, the reaction that I've had from your story yesterday.
And what is the positive message that you really want to get across?
I think the message from the start was always just to talk about your feelings. It's obviously easy to say that, me just saying that, or anyone saying it's not going to make it easier, but it was just sort of, that was my story of when I went through a tough period, or when I've been through tough periods in my life. I've got through it better by opening up and talking to people about it. So that was the real message that I wanted to send out.
And of course, as I mentioned, you've had an apology from Gary Lineker. We saw Nick Hancock on the programme yesterday. What was it like to hear from them about something that happened such a long time ago? To
be completely honest with you, I sort of watched the Nick Hancock on the telly yesterday. I felt a little bit guilty myself, because it was never really about getting an apology or anything like that. And obviously full credit for Nick to doing that, but I felt maybe I shouldn't have spoken so much detail. It weren't about making other people feel bad or putting them in an awkward position. So it was great that he apologised, but again, it was a little bit awkward, but that's life, isn't it?
Looking back now, do you wish you had felt able to speak up more at the time?
Yeah, I think I've been asked that a lot. What advice would you give the 18, 19-year-old Luke Chadwick? But I think even getting that advice, it's hard to just do it. I think how it might, if there was an education going through school of more of a emphasis on your emotional intelligence, about more around mental health, perhaps then when I got to leaving school, that sort of age, I would have known myself a lot better to be able to do that. I think the most important relationship we ever build is with ourselves, and the better we get to know ourselves, the more that we fall in love with ourselves and love ourselves, is when we can have that sort of ability to speak out, open up, and it allows you to love other people more as well by loving yourself, I think.
Luke, how did you get so wise?
I don't know if I am. I think you're being kind to me there, Sally. Thank you.
But it seems like you have learned an enormous amount. What in your life, at what point did you decide to let the anxiety and the pain of it go, and how did you do that?
I think it was over a long period of time. I think obviously when I moved away from Manchester United, the spotlight's not on you as much, and I sort of came out of myself a lot more, became a lot more confident. But even saying that, it was really a hard time for me when I finished playing football some 4 or 5 years ago now, and probably just getting over that. So I think it's a lot of time of reflection. This obviously time of lockdown gives us all chance to really think and take stock of our lives. So I think it's an ongoing process of getting to know myself and loving myself, but something that if we can encourage younger children to do earlier, it's going to make so much difference in their lives growing up.
And what have your friends and family said about the interview and the reaction to it?
They said they were really, really proud of me. It's strange, really. Again, my wife said, my mum, my dad said they were really proud of me. I feel awkward with that, really. As a footballer, I always reacted better when I was getting told off rather than praised. So it was all, it's a strange situation, but obviously it's nice to hear from obviously those that are closest to me.
And what about, you said, you know, you've been asked what would your advice have been to the young Luke Chadwick. What would your message be today to somebody who is perhaps struggling a little bit, does feel anxious, doesn't feel able to speak out about it? What would you say to them?
I think it's important they know that like so many people go through that. I mean, everyone's got mental health, and it fluctuates over time, over a period of time. It can go up and down. So I think the big message is that everyone does feel low at times, but the best way to come out of that is opening up. But again, me saying that, anyone saying that, doesn't always help. I think it's more of a education of learning, like I say, about yourself, that gives you that confidence to open up and talk openly about your feelings.
And Luke, just before I let you go, what are you doing now? How busy are you now?
So I'm involved in a organisation now called the Football Fun Factory, which is around coaching children from ages 2 to 12. So all our programmes are suspended, obviously, at the moment, but it's such a rewarding work. All our ethos is about making football fun and really using football as a vehicle to promote positive life skills and really praise the kids rather than scoring loads of goals or showing loads of skills about the importance of teamwork, communication, sportsmanship, that sort of thing. So I love the work that I'm doing at the moment. I'm in a really privileged position.
Luke, it is brilliant to catch up with you again. Thank you so much for talking to us in the first place. And I'd also like to say thank you to everybody who's got in touch with us with reactions to Luke's interview, because it's been overwhelming. Luke Chadwick, it is great to see you this morning. Thanks very much indeed.
Thanks, Sally.
So many. Thanks, Luke. I think you still hear us. So many really positive messages from a lovely man. Thank you. Thanks, Sal, for bringing that to us.
Whether you were able to listen to Luke's interview there, but talking about the sort of the positive side, you're nodding, so I'm assuming you did, the positive side of how he's dealt with what he has been through. And you are someone as well who's been really honest about some of the mental struggles that you have had over the years. How are you coping with that side of things at the moment, Rick?
Well, I'm in a good place now, to be honest with you. In times gone by, there was lots of things going wrong. I mean, my boxing career came to an end. I had fallouts in the family and with friends and stuff, and it was a very, very tough time for me. And it was very, very hard for a former world champion boxer to go to someone and say, hey, listen, I'm on my knees, I'm crying every day, I don't know what's up with me. And that's what Luke was, explaining there, and saying, there's nothing wrong with opening up and, being, it takes a bigger man to open up about your problems, because listen, as men, we don't want to, we're the boss, we're the fathers, we're looking after the family, and to open up and tell them about your problems and how you feel is very, very hard for a person.
It takes a really big move, doesn't it, to make that first call, to say to that first person. So somebody watching at home who might be feeling, for whatever reason it is, like you were, how would you encourage them to do that?
Well, you can pick up the phone anytime you want. Phone a friend. I mean, we can have FaceTime now on the phone. It's fantastic way. You may not see your loved one, but you can actually see your loved ones. Get up and go for a walk. Do a bit of exercise. When I'm feeling really, really down and I think I'm having a bad day, I get my phone out and I flip through my photo album and I look at my kids and my grandkid and my family, and and all the good times. The thing is the longer you sit there and dwell on things, I think sometimes the worse you go.
Have you sort of bounced off each other in that regard?
Yeah, very much so. To be honest, I was very unfortunate to have lost a family member a few weeks back, and I just put a post on my Instagram saying I'm having not the best days, but we've got to get through it. But and within 10 seconds, Tyson phoned me up. Hey Ricky, how you doing? What's that? How you feeling? What's up with you? And I just explained to Tyson what it is and what of that, and you need good family around you, and you need good people like that. The minute that post come up, or he was in the slightest little bit worried or concerned, he was on the phone in 10 seconds flat, and that's the man for you.
How have you been keeping fit?
In the main, we've had some, very fortunate, we've had some lovely weather, so I've been able to go in the garden, do a bit of circuit training, a bit of shadow boxing, but mainly, the minute I've opened the curtains, the sun's shining outside, doing a little bit of road work. And I think anybody, whether you've got mental health or if you don't have mental health, I think the minute we always say we're going to do more exercising, and we never really do we? But then when we finally do get our backside off the couch and do a run or do a bit of exercise, we feel better for it, don't we?
Thank you so much.
That's half my problem, the cake.
It's so good to chat. Thank you very much indeed for your time.
By any of the things that Ricky or Luke were talking about, I should say, if you go to the BBC Action Line, type that into any search engine, there's all sorts of help and advice that you can find on there.